Thank you everybody for coming. I know everybody that's on now, but I know that there's going to be some people watching the replay that don't exactly know who I am. So, my name is Ryan Joy. I am a travel agent with Creating Magic Vacations. I specialize in Walt Disney World and also group trips, often to exotic locations like Antarctica and Africa, and now Vietnam and Cambodia. Um, the second thing about me that you need to know is that I probably enjoy a slice of pizza better than anybody else that you know. So if you know somebody that you think might like pizza more than me, you should probably introduce them to me because I bet you don't. Um, about 6 months ago, I started getting really interested in river cruises. I knew that Europe was sort of the mecca for the river cruise industry, with the Danube and the Seine and the Rhine and a bunch of other rivers. But what I didn't expect to learn is that there are exotic locations like this one that we're going to talk about tonight. It caught my eye for sure, and it just so happens that I had at that time people asking me about vacations in Vietnam, in Cambodia. So it was kind of a light bulb moment for me at that time that maybe I should think about offering a group for the Mekong. Um, the thing about river cruising for me that I think is so cool is it's all the best parts of cruising and it's a top-notch land tour all in one. And what I mean by that is that you have the convenience of a normal cruise where you unpack once and then you can go to multiple locations, but you also have the best aspects of the very best guided land tour that you've ever been on. So, um, and of course, you're going through the countries and not around the coast of the countries. So, what you don't have is you don't have choppy waters. You don't have massive ships. You don't have hours of sitting on planes, trains, and buses getting from one place to the next. Instead, you go on board this beautiful ship. You have your Michelin quality meal. You enjoy your wine. You read your book. You do whatever you need to do, and you just relax as you watch the landscapes of the countries that you're visiting go by. You really increase the amount of leisure time that you have in the destination that you've chosen to visit. So when we talk about this region in particular, um, I think that it's fair to say that this region gives a lot of people a bit of apprehension because Asia is different than the United States, different from a language perspective, cultural norms, diet, all the things. But with this type of trip, we remove all those barriers and we allow you to still experience all those differences without having to combat the stress of those differences. So I'm going to turn things over to Harlan in a second to talk about, the itinerary and this cruise and all the different aspects in a lot more detail. But before I do, I want to say that we are often inspired to travel from the beautiful images that we see on Instagram and TikTok and on television and on Facebook. And those images, they inspire us to want to go out and see the world and to live in these places, even if just for a second. But all of that, and so that we can bring it all back, we can have that life experience, so we can show our friends, we can show our family. And I'm going to tell you right now that I've previewed the presentation that Harlan's about to show you. And if you're on the fence about this trip, you might just be inspired by the end by these images because they are that bold and bright and beautiful and it's people and it's colors and it's architecture. You're going to see all those cool things in this presentation. So prepare to be inspired. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Harlan from AmaWaterways, who is going to get into some of the deep details, and I'll be here to kind of jump in as needed.
Thank you, Ryan. Wonderful introduction. Yeah, I mean, we're so happy to have you on board as a partner, collaborating in these sessions here to tell our story. Like you mentioned, not only in what we're doing in Europe for the past 23 years, but now embarking in these beautiful exotic destinations. We're up to 4 exotic destinations now with these amazing canvases we're visiting. But the Mekong, I got to say, Ryan, and for those that are joining us this evening, it was a life-changing experience for me personally. when I sailed it back in 2018. Definitely advocating heavy to get back out there. Hopefully for next year. It is definitely quite a special part of the world. We all understand what happened here over 7 decades ago. I found that the culture here in this region very rich, not by the tangibles, but just the love of life and family. Want to know about you as much as you want to know about them. So quite a remarkable experience, and hoping that for all those joining us this evening, that we'll be able to welcome you guys on board our ship for next year, or actually in this case for 2027. Is that correct, Ryan? We got this
Yeah.
for August of 2027. Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So here's a shot. I mean, this is where we're starting with the beautiful optics of the Mekong. Again, we're offering this destination here as short as 7 nights or as long as 18 nights. But I always say, why, travel half a way across the world, which took me almost about 30 hours to get there to only do a 7 night journey. Again, as far as that airlift component, definitely a wise investment for some premium economy or business if you can. But again, yeah, once you're there, again, quite a life-changing experience. So again, on these journeys, we can do 7 nights from Ho Chi Minh City over into Phnom Penh in Cambodia, with some added nights in Saigon, some added nights in Angkor Wat there for Phnom Penh. Also in the northern part in Hanoi, Halong Bay. Now, in fact, we've added the central part of the state there in Vietnam in Da Nang and also in Hue. So some great opportunities for us to really immerse and what I call here with AmaWaterways, the luxury of more options for you guys to explore these destinations with the walking tours, again, the hiking, and also with the biking experience. Again, it's all about that local flair. And again, this part of the world is just quite special. Not only because of the destination, because of the people that live in this amazing part of the world. So here's a recap of what we're looking at for this group that Ryan has in the books for August 16th of next year. It is an upstream sailing from Ho Chi Minh City into Phnom Penh in Cambodia. So you'll see here day one starting in Ho Chi Minh City, then sailing through the Mekong there in Mai To. And again, normally on this cruise, when I did it, I found it to be very romantic, especially when you're traveling in the evenings. You see very dark. You're in your balcony stateroom. You're outside, very serene and quiet. I mean, all you really hear is a distant boat, sailing through or transiting through. But then you look at the water and it's fast moving with the lily pads passing by, but up in the sky, so dark in the starlit sky, very romantic experience, I might say. And then you're into day two in Kai Bay and Sidek. There in Sidek, I remember, one of my tours, I like to deviate, Ryan, on these tours a bit, obviously going with the guided, hearing the history and the culture of what they're talking about, but, deviating a bit, maybe, 10 feet, 15 feet away. In this case, there in Sadek, I made that happen. I sat down in a concrete, bench, and then I remember a young boy approaching me with his little praying hands, in that broken English saying, may I practice my English with you? And that's when it all started with that human connection. Quite remarkable, quite authentic and genuine, the experience there from the beginning of this journey, and then into Tan Chao, doing the trishaw, rickshaw ride through the city there with all the generations. I mean, the young generation, older generation, just waving you by, and then the border crossing of course, into Cambodia. And by the way, there's going to be some visas required for this journey. And the great thing about AmaWaterways, again, it's a bundle package experience. Again, we're all very hands-on, making sure that it's a personalized touch, the way we do business with our partners, and of course, an extension for you guys as guests and family members on board. So again, we do all the guidance when it comes to the transit visas required from Vietnam to Cambodia or vice versa, and obviously into to Vietnam as well. Again, Phnom Penh, again, capital city, major history there. U Dong, there is a great place for the Buddhists. The blessings, very spiritual experience there in day 5 in U Dong. And then the Akne village, where the silk village takes place. And then, of course, any sort of post experience in Angkor Wat there for the temples. Again, places, of course, where Tomb Raider filmed the movie. Again, very jungle, exotic experience. So again, this is the journey you're going to see there for the Charms of the Mekong, the booking cruise that we have there with Ryan for August 16th through into 2027. So Ryan, if you want to jump in here real quick and talk about what we currently have, in fact, for that group when it comes to pricing and
Yeah.
sort of amenities that we can also extend for those that are interested in joining us in 2027.
Hey, on the previous slide, just curious, you talked about the travel to get there. I assume you fly into Ho Chi Minh.
That is correct.
Um,
In this particular journey, you're going to be starting upstream, so you're going to be flying into Saigon. But again, if you opt to do the extension on the northern part of the state there in Hanoi and Halong, you then can fly into Hanoi, and then we transfer down on a domestic flight from Hanoi down into Ho Chi Minh City. But if you choose the option of just doing the upstream sailing with the cruise nights pre-cruise there in Ho Chi Minh City, then you would fly into Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City.
and where do most people fly back from?
So I'll give you my personal experience. So when I did this journey, I flew from Miami, Atlanta, Seoul, Korea down into Ho Chi Minh City. On the return after ending that journey in Cambodia, I flew in from Phnom Penh over into Bangkok, Doha back into Miami.
Bangkok was the answer I was looking for as an extension. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, and also Bangkok is offered under a special promotion with this particular package. So you get the opportunity to do Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam with this particular journey. There you go,
So
Ryan.
yes, so Harlan was queuing me up for this. This is the pricing that you see now is the pricing that we have through September 30th, and it's discounted $1,500 per person. And I had an interesting question the other day because you see the bottom three categories are they're all the same size room, they're all the same layout room. They're really just different locations on the ship, but they're called a twin balcony. And somebody asked me what that was the other day. They said, is it a balcony room with a twin bed? And I had to explain that it's not. You actually have two balconies, and that's what they
Right.
mean by twin. You get your queen size bed, but you have a twin balcony. So you have both the walkout balcony that you sit on, and you also have sort of the Juliet French balcony style that you can kind of stand at, but you can't really sit on. So you have two balconies. But these prices are per person. The discount is $400, or the deposit is $400 per person. So the pricing is really, really good, I think, in my mind, especially those the twin balcony categories are incredible deal, I think.
Yeah,
So
and
you
we'll
get
get an
a
optic of what the twin balconies look like in the upcoming slides. But also, in addition to the $400 per person deposit, final payment is not due until 90 days before departure.
yeah,
So there's some operators out there that they're asking for a deposit and then full payment within about a week or two. We
yeah.
give enough leeway for you guys to make that final payment again at 90 days prior to the actual program starting. Okay, but
So
here
we're
you'll see.
like, so we're like, so far in advance, it's like $50 a month. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, so
Great,
all
great
right,
planning ahead. That's for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, to see. So we have a photo here of the Amadaras. That's the original hardware that we're showcasing there for the Mekong. The new ship, the Amamaya, which is the one you're going to be sailing on this particular group in August. We don't have any assets, digital assets or images of this yet. I mean, other than just an artist rendition, but I'd say it's going to be very consistent to what you see here with the Amadara. And then you see the front part of the vessel. Again, you see the Amadara name. That area there on deck two and deck three is the main lounge area in the restaurant. And then as you go towards the aft part or the middle part of the ship is what Ryan was mentioning there about the Julienne balconies and then also the full size sit outside balconies on the opposite side of that stateroom, which is wonderful. I mean, in fact, the competition nowadays is building the rooms with floor to ceiling windows. Again, which are nice, but again, when you open up that floor to ceiling window to the outside element, it'd be real hot. Here again, you have the best of both worlds with the actual features with this particular hardware. But again, everything is that dark wood, teak wood laid out throughout in the room itself. No carpeting. I mean, it's very humid in that region. I, in fact, did a cruise August 17th of 2018, and that's considered kind of a wet season. But again, it is a humid part of the world. Okay. But in fact, on that 7 night journey, Mother Nature was good to us. We only, in fact, had 2 days of rain, and I felt that it just added to the overall experience. Just being on the Mekong with the light rain coming down, you're in the jungle, exotic, definitely added to all senses. having the Mother Nature bringing down some of that rain, especially also when you're in the Angkor Wat region for the temples. Definitely some wet stuff coming down there for you as well. But again, as you see here on the screen, you're going to see, again, I'm not this image here, Ryan, but again, I want to showcase the top part of the ship itself where you have the pool area. There's kind of a large fish tank as you get in there with the live fish from the region. That's where the wellness takes place. So some champagne yoga on the pool deck, which is inclusive with AmaWaterways, is going to be something of a great treat and something you're going to be able to enjoy not only on board but also ashore when it comes to the wellness. We're all big on the mind, body, and soul experience. I mean, we live it, breathe it. We're not only selling it. So again, this is something that's very important to factor in when you're coming into this world and knowing that it is a very spiritual experience as well when you make these human connection in this beautiful, amazing part of the world. Right? Do you have a question for me?
I just have an acknowledgement. I'm wondering if Hana here is maybe the youngest Zoom participant you've ever been speaking to.
Yeah, is Hannah joining us?
Hana will be. She will be 4 years old, and she will be just barely able to join, and she will be. So
Nice, nice. Well, we definitely welcome the young generation on board. She's going to be very much loved and look out for her. I can guarantee you that. And again, good for you. Kudos to you, Dad. I mean, taking the young one all the way into Southeast
she's
Asia.
We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to navigate her into the car in a parking garage, and she's saying hard no. Hopefully, she's a little more flexible in a couple of years.
We'll replay the recording and see if we can do that. Not now, but maybe down the years. In a couple of years, we'll make it happen. And again, you'll see in the restaurant, a cool thing here is open seating. Everybody that travels on the Mekong, and for that matter, anything with AmaWaterways in Europe or the other exotics, they're all like-minded individuals. Just appreciating the history of the region they're visiting. And, we've seen a big influx of the late millennials, the Gen Xers, and again, active boomers just gelling together and having a great time. And it's very intimate as far as on board the capacity. Only roughly about 120 total guests on board the ship. Sometimes you'll see even lower than that. So again, that one-on-one connection that you're not only making with the culture and the local small village, or the people in the small villages, but that's also happening on board the ship with the crew being all from Vietnam and Cambodia. And then guys, I mean, with AmaWaterways, it's just above and beyond what they do. And they show it by doing the small things, the little things that make a big difference. It'd be from, recognizing, birthday with a small cake during dinner. But again, seeing all the team members working in great synergy, it'd be the housekeeping, the front desk, the wait staff, just exceeding and anticipating guest needs day in and day out for you guys. It's quite remarkable and it's genuine in the way we do what we do with AmaWaterways. That's why we're called the heart of the river. And again, it's a genuine love for that personalized hand-holding concierge experience that only folks carries from Europe into what we're doing here, obviously with the exotics. But you'll see here again everything with a bright smile, a lot of love. Again, you'll see these individuals there with all this fresh produce. Again, everything market to table fresh from the region. So of course the immersive experience with the tours, but also with the local culinary coming to life on board the ship. Here you'll see the wellness program. There's that shot there, Ryan, of that fish tank right in front of the pool area.
Did you say champagne yoga?
Yeah, you can do some champagne yoga, and you'll see some water bottles on there, but you can definitely get creative and spice it up with some champagne. That is for sure.
Is there like a pizza yoga?
We can incorporate some pizza yoga, especially if we're getting a nice group size here. We can work with operations to definitely make it happen. It definitely won't be a Pizza Hut or Domino's out there, but yeah, we'll get something good. But again, also with the wellness, it's all inclusive. So again, the yoga, the massages are going to be an extra cost, but nominal. And in fact, when we have this group arrangement, I know there's going to be an opportunity where Ryan and I are going to be working together to offer some extra onboard credits. And these onboard credits are going to be a good way to offset any sort of extra expenditures on board. I mean, the only real expenditures to expect would be shopping at the boutique or any sort of these spa wellness treatments. But again, we'll definitely get creative and bump up the value here when working directly with Ryan. Okay. But the onboard entertainment, it's a key thing here. It's not going to be a Cirque du Soleil or somebody jumping off a springboard into a pool. Definitely not going to happen here. Not going to be happening with anything that we do on the rivers. But again, it's all about that local flair. Local artisans coming on board the ships to perform for us. It'd be dancers, violinists, musicians, dancers. I mean, it's quite remarkable, and they want you to partake in the journey together with them when it comes to that dancing and singing. And normally people think that everything is shut down by say 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. But if you guys want that bar area open through the wee hours, we can definitely make it happen. So you guys can keep taking down those sweet and delicious libations from the regions. Here are the local guides, guys. And one of the key things here with the local guides is that they're long tenured relationships. And that's important with AmaWaterways, with Christine and Rudy and the Murphy family. These are individuals that have been working in this business for over 25 odd years. And it's all about the human connection. And a lot of the employees and what I call family members, because I say I've worked with this company for 8 years, but I say it's an extended family for me. It happens very much with the local tour guides. They're all family members, long tenured, love the business, love what they do. And it definitely spills over into what they offer on board and ashore as well. Here you'll see, in fact, the middle shot in this bottom corner, this individual here, he's Dennis Lee. That's the product manager for the Mekong program. He's out there every quarter, meeting with the tour guides, meeting with the onboard staff, because again, they're so far away, reminding them that they continue to be a vital part of the AmaWaterways family. They're that heartbeat. So again, making sure that they're encouraged, knowing that they're here and that we support them and we love what they do for our guests and partners day in and day out. So again, this human connection that you're going to be making with the onboard personnel is going to be quite remarkable and something that you're going to be taking back home and sharing with friends and family to hopefully come back another time, like I am, not waiting 7 years to make it happen. Hopefully I can make it happen a lot sooner than that. But again, it's quite special, the human connection that's made in that part of the world. Here you'll see, in fact, one of our owners, Christine Carlst. She's just one of the most radiant human being that you can ever meet. There she is doing the rice paper making and in Kai Bay. In fact, I got to do this experience there. At first, the tour guide brought me in, sat me down there, and I recall, seeing this image of Christine doing this so easily. I got to see her, in fact, in a video, but it's quite special. I mean, you're in there, you get that long stick with that little bowl, and you go around in circles. And again, the person that's in there in Kai Bay in this market is guiding you through. In fact, you can do some snake there, some cobra wine. You'll see the top corner there. In fact, I'll share with you my little bottle that I brought back from. You see it here? I brought that back. I haven't opened it in 8 years, but again, I think I'm going to avoid opening that. But again, they do have some fresh cobra wine that you can also enjoy when you're in this market there in Kai Bay doing the rice paper making. Here in Kai Bay also continues. We had to visit this Mr. Kai's historic house. This is where I mentioned also where I had that interaction with that young boy that came over and asked me to go in and practice my English with him. Again, a great opportunity here to immerse in further culture in this region. The markets, again, look at all the colors with all these exotic fruits. I remember walking down this market area and I'm looking side to side with all these different creatures and fish and snakes jumping around. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? But that's a rewarding experience when you get lost in something that's so different than what you're used to here in the US, right? We're not living in a bubble. The world is big, and it's important to know that everybody's different, and that's a beautiful thing. I always say if God made everybody the same, it wouldn't be an exciting world to live in. And here, this part of the world brings out something special for us to definitely see and enjoy. But again, you're gonna get to immerse here. Don't fret. Again, you're gonna see mopeds with driving around, everybody with their little Vietnamese hats on. Wanting for you to buy things, make sure that your tour guide is speaking to these local merchants, so you're not taking something too exotic back into the ship that won't be sitting too well with the stomach. So again, but this is something special. Again, adding more to that local flair and immersive experience. This is, for me personally, you'll see this is actually Gary Murphy, one of our owners. But I thoroughly enjoyed this rickshaw or trishaw ride through Tan Chao. And I remember boarding the bike. It's usually about a 30 or 45 minute bike ride. But as you go through the city, you see all the people lined up there on the sidewalks waving at you. I still recall. I mean, I'm playing the images in my head with the little boys with their Spider-Man shirts waving. and the older generation as well, waving and big smiles and sparkles in their eye. Guys, I just keep want to repeat myself over and over how important it is that we need to factor that human connection that's made out here is what really provides that solid return with the experience here in Vietnam. This is also a nice little private experience that we offer into the Trao Sioux Forest. I feel like I'm torturing the wording and verbiage here for the pronunciation, but this is something that we offer here with AmaWaterways as an exclusive experience there. And again, the Mekong Delta, it's a river, right? It goes up and down. So there are some seasons when you don't have access into this particular part of the what they call the An Giang province. So again, luckily for you guys here in August, this is going to be kind of a time of the year when the water levels are low. So you can actually visit this town and meet with the local families. I mean, there are a total about 52 families in this region here, and they're all in like these stilt houses, waving at you. Again, older generation, younger generation. Again, quite special here. And then you're into Phnom Penh in Cambodia. Once you transit into Cambodia, again, you're going to do that in-transit visa requirement. It's going to be done on board the ship. So what happens, the actual Cambodia immigration officers come on board and do all that paperwork, very seamless for you. It's only $55. I mean, this was back in 2018. It could be a little bit more now, but again, it won't be, again, that much more. But again, it's all going to be seamless, obviously working with us and with Ryan for him to be that guiding light when it comes to the visa requirements that you need, not only for Vietnam, but also into Cambodia. Here, again, very spiritual in U Dong in Cambodia and the Buddhist blessing. This is roughly about an hour time when you're there with the other Buddhist monks, and you're giving your private blessing. They get the prayer hands, and again, you hear the sounds of the little ringing and bells from the distance. You can't touch the other Buddhists. Again, you can't be taking pictures right next to them or right on top of them. But I mean, you see these individuals right here; they're not that close. But again, this is something that is very spiritual and very, very important for us to experience when we're there in U Dong in Cambodia. And then, of course, Silk Island. I mean, you get to see these people in action when it comes to the creation of these beautiful scarves and dresses. You can buy these very easily there and take them back home to friends and family. One also important thing that I shared with Ryan, they don't have much there in Vietnam and Cambodia. So don't go there and spoil them with cash money. Don't do that. Go out there, bring some school supplies, pencils, backpacks, some sandals. I mentioned shoes to Ryan. I'm not talking about the Air Force Ones or some Nike Jordans, just basic some shoes with soles. But the school supplies go a long way. In fact, you get an opportunity in this journey to visit one of the local schools that we sponsor and support, and in fact have built up. Get to sit in the classes with these young children, get to do the ABCs with them. And again, back to that sparkle in the eyes that you get to see in them and the joy of having us there with them. It's just a second to none experience. So again, make sure that you don't give cash away to any of these folks because it's going to spoil them. And that's what they're going to expect always when they see tourists. So again, the school supplies definitely go a long way. Ryan, do you have any questions for me so far?
You've talked about a lot of like the different things that you can do during the thing. Like you talked about the Cobra wine, and you talked about the blessing, and you talked about the boat ride and whatever. I want to make sure that everybody knows that there's no cost to those things.
Correct.
Like when you do what you would consider in a tour or an excursion or something like that, it's built in. The question though, Herlan, is does anybody need to book any of that stuff in advance, or is it like that morning you pick it out?
Great question. So yeah, you're right. So no extra cost for the tours, but at 45 days prior to sailing, with your booking credential, you'll have full access to our online system to make reservations for all these tours. And some of them are offered in the morning, also in the afternoon. I haven't seen much of the overnight experiences offered on the Mekong yet. But again, at 45 days prior, once you get that booking number, you can make those reservations. And the great thing with AmaWaterways is the flexibility that we offer with our program. Because you can make these reservations 45 days prior, but still come on board and meet with your cruise manager and say, you know what? I've met some like-minded individuals, some new friends. They're doing this particular tour. We want to go ahead and jump on that tour, or vice versa. So the flexibility does exist that you can make these reservations prior and still make the changes once you're on board as well. Also, with the Ama Dara and actually the Ama Maya, there's also a specialty restaurant on board. We have this specialty restaurant called the Chef's Table on our European itineraries. That is also available on board here with the Ama Maya. Again, no extra cost, and also reservations can be made at 45 days prior to sailing as well.
The point that you made about the flexibility, I signed up for I was on the Danube in March, and I signed up to do the bike ride between two of the ports, so like 15-mile bike ride or whatever. And the night before, the cruise manager's like, so we have a bunch of people that signed up for the bike ride, and that's great. It's going to be windy, and the wind's going to be blowing at your face, and it's going to be rainy. So in the morning, we'll see how many of you stick to that plan. And I don't think they did the bike ride at all. So I definitely opted out to do something else that day. Talked us right out of it. So,
and again, that's a luxury, right? I mean, a luxury can mean so many different things for so many different people. I mean, it can be, the double vanities, the high-end toiletries, and the bathtub and shower combination. But I feel the flexibility with AmaWaterways is what truly resonates as a strong luxury feature and value proposition with Ama. And also, one important thing with our tours, they're also at an intimate setting. So I mean, we're not packing 40 or 50 folks with a tour guide. They're offered in different modes: gentle, regular, or very active experience. You're looking roughly about 15 to 25 max guests per tour guide. And again, when you're in that intimate setting, you can make that human connection. You can have more of that conversation with these tour guides. So again, you have that with AmaWaterways. I've seen others on the river here when I did the Mekong, that they were traveling with 50 or 60 total people within their group. Again, you lose that connection. So again, the intimate setting within the tour guides is very, very important with the experience that we bring to the table. Here also, Brian, are you guys keeping the 7-night journey with some extra nights before and after, or are these just optional packages that you're going to be selling with the group?
These are optional. People can choose whether or not they want to do them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and again, this is a great investment, guys. I mean, like I said, if you're traveling half across the world, don't shortchange the experience and only do the 7-night journey. Definitely add the 2 nights there in Cambodia, 2 nights in Ho Chi Minh City. You can do the extension all the way into the northern part of the state there, like I mentioned earlier, into Hanoi. You can now incorporate, in fact, this is new for this year, that central part in Da Nang and Hue as well. So again, the total package deal can be as long as 18 nights, and in fact, an extra 3 nights when you do the Bangkok extension. But again, guys, definitely a solid and wise investment to make these extra nights happen. And again, they're reasonable cost. I mean, we're looking at roughly what, 1,500, 2,000 per person package deals when it comes to the full pre and post. So again, a solid investment to make that happen for you guys. Siem Reap, again, obviously the Angkor Wat Temple. You guys see this on TV. This is real. And I remember walking here. It's a distance. I mean, you get here to this complex and you see these peaks up on this complex area, and it's like, wow, it's about a mile away. But you get closer and you walk, and then the excitement as these buildings come closer to life, and again you see these temples with all this foliage and horticultural experience happening. Walking through these ancient buildings and temples, I mean, it's quite remarkable. And you get that opportunity again with what we offer with the tours, and again the intimacy, like I mentioned earlier, with the tours allows you for getting deeper into the actual temples and into these exotic little regions here throughout the journey. Here's a further optic of what you're going to see there for Siem Reap in the Angkor Thom temple. You're also going to have there for the Phuket Resort Siem Reap. This is a Sofitel property. Again, it's a massive complex, but again, it's just a hidden paradise, guys. Strongly recommend that you guys make this extra investment for the Sofitel. And again, this is an exclusive property that we offer in conjunction with our Mekong journey there for that August sailing. And of course, mentioned there, Ho Chi Minh City, a lot of history. You definitely want to make sure you add some time there prior. Hanoi, again, a lot of history there as well. You definitely want to incorporate if you have some time available to get out for the longer voyage. And of course, there you have the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Halong Bay, traveling on these amazing junk ships. And you're thinking, I first thought the word junk, and I'm thinking it's going to be a junk ship, but no, man, you're talking about some nice hardware sailing throughout this region. And again, this is an exclusive ship or boat. We can't call them a boat, but again, you can't pull this in the back of a car. But again, this is one of the exclusive hardware and ships that we use when it comes to the junk ship experience there in Halong Bay. Of course, Bangkok, Thailand, this is an extra. And I believe there's a current promotion right now that we are offering this as complimentary. We first got to identify, Ryan, if this in fact is the sailing you have in August, a select date for this package deal. I think this current Bangkok offer is running only into 26, but obviously, with the success we're seeing not only this year into 26, I foresee carrying over, in fact, into 27 as well. But again, if you get the opportunity to take off the 3 weeks, definitely incorporating the time there in Bangkok, Thailand, would be a major highlight as well. So again, I just want to keep it short and sweet there, highlight the beautiful colors, the people, hopefully you see some of my passion for what I experienced back over 7 years ago. Can't wait to get back out there. And our Heart of the River continues with the story of you guys all on board with us. So again, thank you so much for this evening. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the opportunity. And let's make this happen together, guys. I always say, Ryan, we can love what we sell, but we got to love who we sell with. And we're looking forward to keeping these brighter days ahead, working together with all of you. Okay, so thank you so much.
So if anybody has questions, feel free to come off mute and ask, or go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll ask for you. But
I would love to learn more, and it doesn't have to be right now, about the Bangkok extension and what would be included in that.
Yeah, I'll send over a follow-up asset, so you'll see a full day-by-day itinerary with the properties that are built in, as far as logistics connections from the cruise over to Bangkok. What's inclusive with the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we'll follow up with Ryan on the actual asset for you to review there with the toolkit. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Scott.
Yeah, I think you're not the only person watching this right now that might have that same interest. So good.
Ryan, as it seems that we are not the only one with a semi-small child, what does a 3-person room look like? Because I know traditionally it's probably just a queen size bed, but how does that work if it's a small family?
It is a queen size bed. Hi, Liam. It is a queen size bed in the room, and they don't have an additional, there's no additional bed that they would bring in. So Herlan, what's the max age?
I get a room by myself. And
you could do that.
That's what I just heard, Danielle.
Yes, that is probably the best option, but it's probably not the most cost-effective option.
Okay.
But Herlan, what's the
Yeah, so we're limited on the Mekong when it comes to the higher capacity triples and quads. I mean, we definitely see that with the European itineraries and that hardware. There are going to be some limitations, Danielle, when it comes to the triples and quads. In this case, if you're going to be traveling with the higher count in the family, it's getting 2 rooms that are side by side. And Liam, by the way, I love that name. That's my nephew's name. So rock on, buddy.
Sean and Melanie have Hana, and she's going to be she's going to be young enough to where she can share the bed with them still or whatever. But I don't know if Liam's in that situation at that point. By that time, he'll be 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean's got a question.
Yeah, I had a question. Now we're scootering, but while I was wearing a helmet there. You said you could book things 45 days in advance. Do the excursions sort of max out at some point? Are there some that are better and you should book them in advance, and others you can kind of wait and see?
Yeah, no, they never sell out completely. Great question, Sean. They're never going to be sold out. All of them are going to be available. We factor that in when it comes to the operation side and making sure that there's again that flexibility of choices in play when you want to make that happen. So again, never anything's going to sell out. But what I can do is share with you some personal feedback on those that traveled recently on the Mekong and what their preferences are. We know what sort of experiences they've actually shared when it comes to particular true cruises, then you can actually just pick and choose. Okay, that feedback sounds great. This is what I would want to immerse in. But again, never going to be selling out when it comes to the actual tours. But again, that's something that you definitely want to make happen 45 days prior. Okay.
It's nice that you have like your preview into what's available, and then you can choose them, and it sort of populates your itinerary and stuff, but then you can change your mind.
Correct.
I kind of love that. Yeah.
Do you have pictures of the rooms, like what the differences are? I didn't happen to notice that in the presentation.
Yeah, we do. We'll do, and I'll follow up again. It's right now the Maya, so the more artist renditions, for what we got. But again, very comparable to what we see with the existing hardware there with the Amadara. So I can definitely share that with Ryan, and he can in turn share with you all different categories from suites, all into the lead-in price points there for the other fixed windows as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Not right now, but about 4 seconds after we end this meeting, all the people will text me with 2 to 6 questions. So
Well, it's all good, Ryan. You got me here. Again, I appreciate
Yes.
your support and partnership and friendship. Anything you need, please reach out, and I'll definitely provide any sort of backup information so we can guide our mutual clients and friends here in the right path for this journey. Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining tonight. Some of you already going, but hopefully learned a little bit more and got a few more questions or figured out what questions you're going to be asking me going forward. And those that aren't going, hopefully you got inspired a little bit to go on the trip that we're going on, or sooner than sooner than I'm going, because we're going in 2 years, or a different trip or whatever. But look forward to talking with everybody about what they thought. So thank you very much, Harlan.
You're very welcome, Brian. Thank you. Thank you too. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Hannah.
Harlan.
Bye, Liam. Bye, Hannah. Bye, adults.